year's theme because of the, I guess because of the Mayan prophecy thing coming up and stuff. I picked it as surviving the zombie apocalypse. So it's funny, I posted that on Facebook and right away I get people going, do you really believe that a zombie apocalypse will happen? I'm like, no, you knuckleheads, I don't really believe that. But this is the thing, if you could survive that, you could survive anything, right? You know, the way I look at it is if something like that did happen, you got two types of threats. You got the zombies, and you got the people trying to take your stuff, right? Okay? So throughout this camp, we're going to work on combating both those threats. Okay, so we're going to work on a lot of weaponry. Tomorrow I got some tomahawk training. We got machete training today. We got some knife quick kill stuff. We're going to work on a lot of that, but we're also going to work on a lot of weapon disarming, a lot of empty hand combat too. Okay, so this first class is my dirty boxing program. I think you guys are going to dig it. It's the way that I fight. Being a boxer for the last 15, 16 years, started in Bourbon Street. It's the way that I win fights against people that could probably whip my butt. Okay, it kind of, you know, it's kind of cheating, and I like that as far as when it comes to combat, because if you want to survive a real actual fight, you got to cheat. Okay, so but I think the drills too will benefit you as far as your boxing goes, and as far as just your movement goes. Okay, so with that said, let's put on some gloves and let's get started. Just go to shoulder bump and throw the overhand, which will go right here. That's one. Then he's gonna hold for the hook. Not just hold for the hook punch. That's two. That's three. Then he steps back and hold for the kick. And you step in and kick. Okay, so back to it slowly. So we're here. I shoulder bump, and that overhand is right there. So as soon as the shoulder hits, the punch is already gone. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Just step back and and I kick. Okay, different angle. So 1, that overhand's right here. Hook cross. Yeah, and then kick. All right, 10 times. Ready? More. So I pull and shoulder bump to get space, and then there's my overhand. You with me? Couple more times. Talk about street combat. I typically prefer to keep my strong side up front. My right lead if you're right-handed. Okay? The reasons why is because it's stronger. It's quicker. It can take more of a punishment. But another reason is because we're knife fighters and we keep our blade up front. Are you with me? Okay, we don't put it in the back because then that's a target. We put our blade up front. So work right lead today if you can. All right, go. All right, so from here, hands are up. He's going to, this time he's going to attack me with the jab, and I just want you to catch it. So jab, yeah, I just want you to catch it here with the back hand, okay? When he throws the jab, I want you to go 1. Now the cross comes 2, and then the hook comes 3, and I want you just to jam into here. Now if you notice, look where I am. Right back into where we were. See, I gave you the ending first. You see it? So it goes 1, 2, 3. Now watch, I grab and I pull myself into the position. Now he may back up. So 1, 2, 3, back up. I'll let him pull me in. Does that make sense? Okay? So from here, the motion that I want you to go 1, and then this is here, and I just want you to headbutt it. See it? When I headbutt, I wrench the arm from here. That's the two new parts here. So 1, 2, 3, I pull in, I headbutt. Boom, I wrench. Get there, and I'm gonna show you the ending. Okay, so one more time. 1, 2, 3, shoulder bump, headbutt, wrench the arm. We'll show a different angle. 1, 2, 3, shoulder bump, headbutt, wrench the arm. Be careful on this arm wrench. When that jab comes in, I get behind it. Don't do this. Learn to get sideways on that jab to defend it. You see what I'm saying? Okay? So the jab comes in, 1. Cross comes in, 2. Hook comes in, 3. Now see, I might jam this gun here. You see how I still got something on it? That's beautiful. Because then from here, the shoulder goes right in, boom. Headbutt, wrench the arm. See it? Okay? 3. Yeah, suck myself in here. See, the elbow's up. I can jam the gun here, or I can just monitor this, right? Shoulder bump. Headbutt. Now look, it's a slicing headbutt. It's not like my headbutts that I do this. I slice with it, right? Okay? So 1, I wrench the arm. Now watch, this is where it gets tricky. This right arm pops this arm up, and then I go right over. See this? Now he puts the mitt right here. I knee once, I knee twice. I push him off, and I kick. 1, 2, 3, 4, headbutt, behind, wrench this arm, Now you can bend it, which is good, or you can straight arm. If it's straight arm, that's fine. You just lynch him over here. See? Knee once, don't kill him because it mitts in front of his face. 1, 2, shove, kick. Put it kind of to your rib cage.
Okay.
Yeah. Kick. See it? Shoulder. Okay, go ahead and just kind of muscle, bicep curl. Look at this. See it? Now watch this, bicep curl me. See it? Right on the elbow. Okay? I can use one hand. I like to hit the ear once. Pow, knee. 1, 2, shove. Blunt force trauma. It's hard to lock a man that's resisting. That's why I'm gonna wrench your arm before I lock it, or I'm gonna, you know, if I'm just trying to lock you like a security position or law enforcement, you know, fingers to the throat, slap, anything to take your mind off of that. You know, but for a combative situation, a zombie apocalypse, just break that elbow. Then it's gonna be easy to lock that arm, right? Okay, so in the next one, I'll show you we're gonna hit the muscle to kill that arm a little bit. So, a couple more times, Carson. Where's that boy? I usually grab the hair, see? Okay, and then you just knee. But for training, just grab the top of his head. Let me show you something. There's a lot of different clinches. I can clinch here, that's fine. But see, this clinch is for what? When you clinch the neck. When I clinch the top of the head, it's for knees to the body of your goat. If I clinch the neck and he pulls back, that's your headbutt and elbow. Does that make sense? So you got the top of the head, that's knees and groin, because you can't pick your head up. You can't do it. Now see, if you do the neck, pick your head up. I want him to. There's your headbutt and knee. You see it? And then you got this one. See it? I call it like a Z clinch. Okay? It's great for elbows and it's great for hair control. You with me? So when I do here, I go one, I just grab the hair usually, but then for here you just go here. Because your partner probably won't like you grabbing his hair. And I got a lot of bald-headed students, so I grab their ears. So it goes 1, 2. Now watch. I shove this arm in the neck. See I kind of goes back. All right, go. This is Warrior's Edge kick. I call it a bitch slap back fist. Watch. 1, 2, 3, and then I just slap back fist. You see it? So 1, 2, and then I just go right across the face with it. You see it? Now when I do that, I hit the groin with it. See it? And then there's your headbutt and your knee. You push him off kick. See it? Okay. So 1, 2, 3. See? And then that slaps the groin. I slap it. Now look, that brings his neck right down for the clinch. Elbow, knee, push and kick. We'll do it slow. 1, 2. See? I hit the groin with it from here. I can thumb the eye on the way up. If his head's down, I want a knee first. If his head's up, I hit that first. Does that make sense? And we'll do it slow. 1, 2, 3, and then it goes right across the face. And it makes a circle. It gives me this easy. It's like this. Watch this. Come here. Point your finger. Just kind of move your hand when I grab your finger. See, I mean, he could see that cup. Just kind of, no one to grab it. See, he could see that cup, but see the blind spot. It went straight up. See, on his blind spot, and it's harder for him to pick up. So, see, when he's here, his blind spot's right up the center here. See, if I do this, he'll go grab it. I can also go right up the center here, but then I got to switch leads. You see it? So I want to go right up the center of his blind spot. Okay? So watch. So just throw the hook. 1. There's your B slap back fist, and this makes it like a half circle. Bang, right? And look, it goes right up here. Look. See the ear? Beautiful. Bang, 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 right? Push and kick. Don't let me pull them apart. Piece of cake. Everybody try that with your partner. Just interlace your fingers and try to pull them apart. See how easy it is. He's going to put his fingers together. Put them together. He's going to push his palms together. He's not going to even grab. Don't even grab. I just want you to focus your energy together. Watch. Try that with your partner. The reason why I don't interlace my fingers, number 1, everybody look at me. Pick your head up. Give me some energy. The reason why, look at me guys. The reason why I don't interlace my fingers is because it takes too damn long for me to do this. You with me? Second reason, just violently rip your head back. I lost it. Right? Now watch. This, my thumbs are up. Go ahead and rip your head back. Oh, you can't go nowhere. See, now look how easy it is for me just to transition, and then I could reacquire grip. Third reason, my thumbs are facing up, like Fonzie. Who remembers Fonzie? You don't, you know. Right? Fonzie, right? So watch, my thumbs are facing up. So watch, all I do is slide my hand back, I rake my thumb right across his eye, because it's in line with his eye socket. See that? Whenever he starts resisting, I stick my thumb in his eye. Lock him or off balancing. Does that make sense? If he's ready, that's the hardest time. That's when you got to work the most. Right? If he's not ready for it, it's the easiest time to hit him. So that's what we're going to work on now. From here, same entry that we're going to work. Okay? So we're going to go one, jab, cross, hook. I'm going to kill this. See it? Now what I do is I just take my forearm and I just knock him off balance with it. See, now as soon as I hit his, now even that's going to be a ballistic hit. I don't do anything passive. Everything I do has a purpose. I'm trying to hurt you every time I put my hand on you, every time I touch you. That's the goal. So I go 1, 2, 3. I yoke his throat here. There's the punch. Right off the, right, as soon as you bump him, stroke him. Right? 1, 2, right there, man. Look at the ear. Fine. I just do arm, but put your, so I don't hurt you here. Watch this. Resist me. Look at this. I can't. Now it's a power struggle. Now watch. My arm is there posted. Now watch what I do with my legs. I just shuffle. My body moves, not the arm. See it? So I go here 1. See that hits, and then my legs shuffle. Look at that. See it? And then I struggle. 2, 3. You still want to walk his base. Because if you don't walk his base, where's his weight? You're going to be like kicking a tree. Walk his base, sweep the leg, and then if he goes all the way fine, if he don't, just goes a little bit fine. Whoa! Right? Different angle. Hooky punches or straight punches? What's harder? Who thinks hooky punches? Raise your hand. Who thinks straight punches? Yeah, straight punches are harder to defend. And that's what's beautiful about street fighting, about combat, is because most people, most street fighters, they throw hooking punches, haymakers, right? They have no art to them. If I ever see a guy do this, I worry. That's when I'm scared. Because he's trained, right? So, it's good to train the highest probability, which is the hook punches. So we do a lot of defense off of haymakers, off of pushes and haymakers, that kind of thing. But it's the art, and it makes you an athlete to try to defend straight punches. If you can try to defend straight punches, hook punches are a piece of cake, right? That's why we use a weapon so much. We put so much emphasis on knife fighting and stick fighting. Because if you can defend a knife or a stick, punches and kicks look slow motion, almost, right? All right, so we're going to handle the cross. The first one that I want you to do, he goes 1, and then instead of catching it like I've been doing, I'm going to cross center line with it. Which you don't see me do that much. But the reason why is because I'm setting up to handle that cross. Okay? So, 1, 2, and then I go right under it. See it? So watch again. 1, 2. Yeah, there you go. Do it again. 1, 2. See? Look at that. Windshield wipe right over. And then I go right under with the uppercut. See it? It's not really an uppercut. It's almost like a straight punch. Because uppercut, look, I'm missing. Straight punch, I just right underneath his arm. See that? 1, 2. Okay. First one I want you to do, from here, I just want you to walk his base. See it? First one. See how I get off center a little bit? Huh? Just to help with that, to help with this. See it? Another thing I don't want you to do is try to catch this thing. Throw a really good jab cross and pull it back. Pop, pop. No, pull it back. Oh. Yeah, how you gonna catch it? But what you can do is parry it. And see if you don't capture it, he pulls it back, you just hit. Does that make sense? 3 times to hit a man. Who can tell me when they are? Before, during, or after. That's it. It simplifies things. I can hit a man before. That's the highest. He pushes me and throws a haymaker. Boom, I just hit him before he even gets it off. He pushes me and throws a haymaker. Boom, I just kick him before he gets it off. During, he throws a jab. I hit him during, midstream. Or after, he throws a jab and retracts it. I hit him, right? Okay. So what we're doing here, 1, during. See it? Okay. I just want you to bump him. hit. We're not gonna stay on this long because it's pretty simple. You guys, I bet all of you have even done this. Okay? But I'm gonna show you the next one. Okay? After this, so do it a couple times. Go. 1, 2. So I'm here. I never bump him with this foot closer inside his legs because I don't get enough resist me. See it? So I do a couple things. I either put it on the safe side, kind of in between. You see that? That's C-lock. That's C-lock guys like to hook it. See, then they use their leg too when they bump, see? Okay? I step on it and bump him, or I move it past him and bump him. Does that make sense? Cross, bang. Now watch, from here I just grab the back of his head. See it? They call that, in Kali, they call that gaja, which means elephant trunk. See it? So I grab, now on the way I might as well just right the eye. I mean, it's always good to do. See it? 2 options from here. I can keep the arm here and bump it, and then look at the punch. Fine, right? Okay? Well, the one I like to do from here, and you can practice them both, when I grab, I chuck this arm. Now look at the ear. See it? Now I just stroke the ear once, twice, bump him, go back to the ear. 3, chuck it. I hit the ear, then look, they call this bolo punch. Look. So I just whoa! See it? Shove him, stroke. Now watch, I just pick my elbow up. Look at this. Look where the arm goes. Immediately you fall right into it. I could shove the face, or look, I just grab and watch. Look at the arm. Look at this. See it? I can slam my knee down, and then I can just rip the shoulder off. That's fine. But I just like to grab, and look, I grab the ear or the head, and I just pull and press. See it? All right, watch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Knee, bang, bang. Elbow up. It's so simple. It's just look at this. It is. Whack it. That's Pewter Kapala. Now watch. Just grab the back of his head.
This?
Pull it. The back of his head. With that. The back of his head, not his neck. Higher on the head.
Oh.
Now pull and crank it. So there it is. These 2 guys are my major influences in martial arts. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be teaching the way I teach today and doing the things I do today. So, Guro Ron Goin.
Thank you. And I consider it a privilege to be up here with a couple of my favorite martial artists on the planet. I met this man back in the, I don't know, 80s or something. When I was in Germany, I've told this story many times. When I was in Germany, a friend of mine, I was in the army over there, a friend of mine visited me for a week. And he said, you got to see this guy. Tell me all about it. So I heard about him across the ocean before I actually met him face to face. And he impressed the crap out of just about everybody. This guy came along, and I tell you, maybe one of the fastest learners I've ever met. Somebody that just absolutely sees something, puts it into his mental system, and he's got it. So it's a real honor to be around 2 guys that just love the martial arts so much, love teaching, love training, and always willing to put their ego aside and take on new things. So it's really exciting. Thank you for letting me come up today. Would be that the #1 threat with a zombie invasion. If you haven't read World War Z, by the way, anybody read that book yet? Isn't that a great book? Yeah, it is. World War Z is just great. There's even a martial art in the book. It's a zombie killing martial art. So you gotta read this thing. It was really before the big zombie craze happened, but fantastic. The #1 threat would be zombies and how to take out their head, but it's appropriate for life too. The three top ways of getting killed on the planet, aside from disease and so forth, at the hand of another man, would be firearms, #1. 2 would be edged weapons, and 3 would be impact weapons. So facing the a real threat against stick is very possible throughout the world. So we need to learn how to use it. Whenever I teach a technique, I want to make sure that I teach how to understand the capabilities and the limitations of a weapon. You need to know what it can do, and you need to know how to defeat it. So many times I'll be showing a technique. The goal isn't so much as that you can learn to kill with this, but that you can learn what somebody might be doing to kill you, and thus learn how to defeat it. We're going to be working on really only about 6 techniques today: clearing, striking, having the stick hit and retract, and also having the stick come through. My assistant instructor today is Jamie Taman. Jamie and I have been working out since the old days of the 1970s. I've probably spent more than, I don't know, 5,000 hours or so sparring, fighting, grappling, stick fighting, knife fighting, self-defense with this guy. And he's kind enough to always accompany me at my seminars, and so he's going to be helping me out. Jamie's going to stand like Mr. Anatomy Man. You don't need the stick. People that learn to use the stick will do flow drills with the stick, and it looks really pretty, and it's a good thing to learn. But the problem is, when you hit the bowling ball of the head, that stick doesn't go through. It's going to hit and stop, or hit and bounce back, because the head is up in the window of combat. I'm going to step in left foot and clear, step in and right foot and strike. So it's 2 steps. I step in and clear, I want to make impact, and then I want to take another step and strike in tight. That's my tight strike. So if he's in a fighting stance, for instance, and I step in, make contact, and then step in and strike. So listen, against the air, against impact or contact with his left hand, and then my right foot steps forward, there's the strike. So this will be 1, the step and clear. This will be 2, the strike. Let's try it. Ready? 1, 2. 1, 2. There's 2. The stick doesn't go through because it hits the bowling ball. So I step back and away for that tight inside forehand strike. If it hits and retracts, that is, it hits the bowling ball, which is the face, I don't have this motion. I don't have this flow. You see what I'm saying? This flow is what we all work on. Guess what? In real fighting, you may not have that flow through. I mean, with a knife you might, but with a stick, it's going to hit that bowling ball and stop. So, this is the bowling ball. There's 2. The stick doesn't go through because it hits the bowling ball. So I step back and away for that tight inside forehand strike. If it hits and retracts, that is, it hits the bowling ball, which is the face, I don't have this motion. I don't have this flow. You see what I'm saying? This flow is what we all work on. Guess what? In real fighting, you may not have that flow through. I mean, with a knife you might, but with a stick, it's going to hit that bowling ball and stop. So, this is the bowling ball. A clang hitting a bell. It just stops. I step back and do my other strike. Again, there is no flow through. There's the hit only. It just hits. Because it hits that bowling ball, it just hits. So what I want to do is go to my 3rd strike, which is bring the stick in 2 hands and now thrust. So here's 1, clear. There's 2. There's 3. See how it just hits and stops? I sort of bring the stick and the hand together in a dynamic way. I step in and thrust with the butt end. Nice lunging motion. Again, one more time, slow motion. 1, 2, hits, clang, hits, clang. There is no flow through, just hits. So I step in and do a butt strike. Let's do it again. Clang. But let's say I either miss or I catch just the tip, so the stick doesn't just clang, it goes through. I now put 2 hands together, and this time I'm coming in with my left foot forward. So here's my 1, 2. See how it went through that time? 3, step in. So the first time we did this, we hit and stopped, we hit and stopped, and then we came in right foot forward. This time we hit and stop, we hit and go through, or hit and miss, and now we put our hand on the end of the stick and lunge forward left. It stops. 2, it hits and flows through. We put our hands on the end of the stick, we step forward and lunge. I've got 2, and I'm gonna, instead of taking the butt in, I'm taking the middle of the stick and stepping forward. Let's try it against an imaginary opponent. We're gonna clear, strike, clang, clear, strike, clang. We grab the stick and we step forward, bam, and butt strike. I hit and go through, tip strike. Third option, I hit, and I shaft strike. Here's the first one. Because I catch the tip, or maybe he sees the stick coming and thus he pulls back just slightly. So I don't necessarily miss because I'm bad aim like I was with the bow and arrow a minute ago. Instead, I miss because maybe he or he rolls with it, or slightly moves because instinct kicks in. So the very first one flows through. It doesn't hit and clang, come to an abrupt stop. Instead, it hits and goes through. We now have that butt strike. So we're going to go 1, immediately strike. 1, 2. Let's try it against the imaginary. The stick travels up to my trap area right here. I bend down low. I may have to clear that hand out of the way with my left hand, and I strike the leg. So 1, 2. 1, 2. Because I've hit him in the head so many times, he no longer has good logic. You see how I missed that? However, if I dropped, do you see how I wouldn't miss that? I miss it, I don't miss it. I miss it, I don't miss it. So when you hit low, you need to be low for a couple of reasons. One, you can bring more power. One, you make sure you don't miss. All right. I hit. It either misses because I'm a bad aim. It hits just with the tip and thus causes a movement. Or it misses because he anticipates it and has good reflexes and moves. We then strike the knee. Then as I step back, I bring the stick up, and then there's my inside forehand strike. Bam. We clear and strike the leg. We come almost vertical, and then step back slightly, and then here's where we then pick up the two-hand thrust with the left foot forward. Watch that. We go 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, get your imaginary collision and strike. It's aimed at the lower jaw, cheek area. Most people do a corkscrew, right? Thumb down. I like to imagine holding a tube of liquid. Let's say it's acid. Not the 1960s acid, but laboratory acid. We turn it and pour that acid to the ground. We want to burn our boots is what we want to do. So we're going to step in, and then there's that. See how I turn that, pour that acid out? I burned some boots right here. Bam. Now what we're going to do is we're going to strike downward into the groin with a hammer fist. So we're going to go 1, 2, right there to the hammer fist. Let's do that. Strike in the groin. The hand comes up, straight up, like a finger pointing to the moon, because that places this arm right there on my shoulder. I reach in and grab behind his neck, and then that's a knee strike. Bam. Okay, so we go 1, 2. You see how it points up to the sky? And then it comes down. He already probably gets a little bit of lock, not like an arm, not powerful, oh my arm is broken, but he gets a, you see how he gets that, see where his head goes? He kind of brings that head in as I bring it down sort of to my bicep shoulder area. So I go 1, 2, finger points to the moon. Do you see what happens when I do that? It just channels it. It just drops that in perfectly into this space between the back of my head and my shoulder. That arm now continues down to your shoulder or bicep area. This hand goes behind the head, and then this foot can step back just slightly as you knee strike. We can then kick the foot out from underneath you. All right, let's try that slow motion. Slow motion. Here we go. 1, 2. It goes up to the sky and continues on to my bicep. The hand goes behind the head. There's the knee strike. The right foot hooks and pulls out. There's my strike to the face. There's my strike to the groin. In class, a lot of times we'll strike the thigh. That sort of simulates a strike to the groin, right to the thigh. We shoot this arm straight up. Do you see what happens when I shoot this arm? When I shoot this arm straight up here, do you see how that arm just flops right into that space? This hand, where does it travel to? Right here. You feel that? Mm-hmm. And do you see what it does? Look at his head. As I go here, do you see how it channels that head down? So finger up, right here. Oh, nice. Then this is not to the neck. This is to the back of that bowling ball we've been wanting to get all day long. There's the knee strike. Bam. The right foot is right up against this right foot. Here we go. We're going to go strike the face, strike the groin. It drops up. There's the bam. And then there's the getaway. All right, let's try that with her. We strike, bam. We drop it down. And then all we got to do is clear that hand and then strike. All right, good. Thank you. I like to use the young guys for that. Knowing how to target the head is important. And then also learning the capabilities and limitations of a stick. So we need to face what a stick can do in order that we can then begin developing good neutralization or defenses against those attacks.
We're going to start out, we're just going to work some flow, and then I'm going to take some flow and take it into some combative stuff. So we'll go from flow drill into some combatives, okay? Basically, in the hoo-butt, he's going to slap me in the ear. That's his objective, or punching, or whatever. My objective is to stop this or slow it down. In reality, I'm not really stopping it as much as I'm just keeping it from hitting me. So he's going to slap me. I'm going to hit it, and I'm going to pass it underneath, trap the arm, and I'm going to feed it back to him. He hits me, I'll pass it, feed it back. I do a thing called a Cleopatra. A lot of people, they'll slap and hit. With my wife, she gets pissed off when I'm hitting her like that. So I have to kind of softer like this so it catches with a little Cleopatra. It makes a little hook. Notice that kind of hooks this way. And then later on it can kind of get sticky a little bit. We can kind of get sticky with it versus hitting it and knocking it away. So I stop it, I move it, I trap it, and I slap it. Okay, when he slaps me, my hand is low, kind of my emotions just bring it up. Does that make sense? what if he's slapping me and I'm taking abuse, so it's, my hands are up like this. I don't want to go down and up. So from here, I'm just going to take my hand and come down with it and then pass. So your pass is on top instead of underneath. Notice I kind of catch it here. Sometimes you do this, it'll slide right off the top, especially if he's got something in his hand. So I kind of like, it fits right inside there, like a hook. And this hook right here, I just take it, hook it down. Okay, so my objective would be to hit. This would be just maybe one of these type of blows, a haymaker. It's not going to be for somebody boxing at you or straight lining it. Okay, so he comes, I catch it, pass it, and once you get that, and you're going to get this really fast, then go back into the underneath, and then on top, then back underneath. Okay, move over there. What is he now?
2:30.
He's still 12. I'm constantly seeing him as 12 o'clock. Is everybody with me? Okay? So, realistically, when he throws that punch, I want to try to get offline. Usually I'll take my foot. Look how it's on the same line, like a railroad track right here. I like to step out like I'm going to 10 o'clock. I don't have to go way up in there to be 10 o'clock. I just need to face that way. So from here, I'll move to here. My back foot will move to 8 o'clock. So I go 10, 8. I'll stop it. It comes under. I step to the outside just a little bit. And I move to this angle right here, 8 o'clock. That way, if he passes me on by, I get off the railroad track. Is everybody with me? There it comes. I stop it. I step out as I block. And I move out to the 8 o'clock position right here. And that push, I just lay right across it this way. Everybody with me? Through there. Stop it, pass it. Watch out. I kind of pull that hand down into it a little bit. Right here. Boom, there's my shot. Alright, let's play that. All I have to do is just get off the railroad track a little bit. I want to get out of that knee possibly coming, so I want to move off the side and get out of the direction of it. Everybody with me? Now here's a key note. When he throws this and I step and my back foot goes to 9 o'clock, it took away my round kicks, took away my turning kicks. I want to stay where I always keep him in a 10-2 position. In other words, he's 12, 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Is everybody with me here? When I move to here, I take away my turning kicks. I have to re-step. Now, if I have this foot forward like you were doing, and that's fine because that's just where you're standing, I would just move forward and then out to the side. But I don't want to be here where I'm feeding my back. Because now, if he just spin back fist, I'm kind of in a position I can't see it. Now if he spin back fist, I can see it coming a lot. So that angle is so critical, especially if you're going to start kicking and stuff, which we will be doing a little bit later. So from here, I get out to the side and I pass. I move down. I want to stay here and don't get to here because I don't want to be off to the side like that. Does that make sense? And option 2, the only difference is where my hand starts from. If it's low, I'd use option 1. If it's high, I'd use option 2. Does that make sense?
Sure. Right
now we're having to make it happen. You're just wanting to make it happen. So now you try it with the hand down and move to the side. Okay, let's try that. So from here, when I step back, I load this back foot. That way I can bump him and go in on him a little bit. Is everybody with me on that? So try not to be like this. Try to keep the leg bent because now you have something to move. So if he wants to punch, I can come up under that. I'm in a good position to kick or move on that, okay? But as soon as my legs start spreading out, I don't have very good mobility. Again, I like to come sticky here. A lot of people like slap it and you miss stuff, but if you just let his momentum come in, it'll kind of fit in that little groove right there. Now from here, when I step, I'm going to make my little hook right here, and watch when I step, I'm going to grab that arm and roll it up, palm up this way, and I grab that elbow right here, just like this. If I don't get it all the way over and I push, it'll go back like this. So when I grab, I like to roll it, palm up this way. And then I grab that elbow and I got a little bump right there. right here. If I don't get that turned over, I'll push and it'll bend on me, which I got an antidote for that. But right now, just turn, roll it up, trap that elbow down, and you got a nice little bump right there. You can just bump him away if you want. Last time, catch it, roll it, palm up, grab that elbow, just like this. Don't grab it like this, just grab it like this right here. And you can bump it. Everybody with me? Let's try it. When he slaps me, and I get out to the side, I roll that up. If you don't get that roll over right there, when you push, it's going to bend. Everybody with me on that? Sure. So if it starts to bend, or if I get it rolled over and maybe I go to thumbing to the eye and he's going to block it, that hand comes up automatically right there. So when that hand comes up, I just set right into the center, and I got my figure 4. So I go here, whoa, you know, I pop it out and I lock it. I bump him and it bends, or I bump him and he pulls. So I ain't gonna force nothing. He's gonna determine what I'm doing. But right now you just gotta make it happen. So roll it over, I go for the thumb, or he starts to bend, I take my right foot and I just step in to the center. And I make my lock right here, figure 4. That could be an elbow clip or whatever. From here, I can just round step, step down. I'm right into the lock. So move off the side. It's already bent. I can already feel it bending. So instead of trying to fight that, I just go right into the lock. Everybody with me? So here it is again. 1, 2, bump, roll, figure 4. So initially I want to get him over because I could just simply, you know, go for a takedown right here. Okay? But he's going to pull the elbow back. When he does, it just slides right into that hand. And if I miss it, I just, you know, you bypass it. But it slides right into the hand. Look how those 3 fingers catch that pinky side. Thumb right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to raise this hand up and I'll just step through. A lot of times I can step through and leave it on my neck. Or I can raise it up and put it into a position where I keep him up or down. I like him down right here for this next particular move. Kind of locking the 3 fingers right here. So I catch, I roll to the side, he pulls his arm back, I slide right in, lay it against my neck, I come around to the front of him right here. I can hit him right there with the head. Oh, that was a nice one.
That was good.
Okay, from here, I'll take this and do a beautiful follow it. I can just set him right here and we can step right in and make a lock. I just raise that hand right up. Slides, he pulls back, slides right to the hand. I reach in here, I catch it, I can lift, or I can put it on my neck. I'll slide right in here and I'll make my lock right here. All right, any questions? Make my lock right here. Initial thing is to get this palm up. That's going to determine what I take next. Is everybody with me? So from here, as he pulls back, that hand just slides right down. This hand has to replace to here. And I bring this neck. See, I could just step straight back and just walk him out. But I like to walk around the front of him, and then from here I'll let go of that hand, I'll just hook it, I'll take his head down, and I'll just step across right here. So, step, press, lock. And sometimes it'll slip right here, I'll just knock that in. It's very important to keep this knee in tight right here. Don't let yourself get too far back. Slide in and lock. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and make the bump. Then from here I'll just make my lock right here.
Is this mine?
So as I move here, this hand just slides up and makes the lock. From here I just round step and take him down. And from here I like to drag him over and I'm right into here. Pass, lock, right into here. Stop, pass, lock. This hand slides right up under and I make my lock right here. So I'll take this hand right here, I'll reach through and I'll trap it underneath right here. And what I do is if you get too far under it, you're going to be out like this. You want just your hand to come past where your thumb is right here, real close to it. And right here I'll just grab this arm and I'll lock it. Well, that's going to cause him to either want to straighten his arm. When he does, he straightens his arm, so my hand goes right to his shoulder, and I got the lock right here. Some people let that come way up high, so they're having problems. You got to keep it kind of sucked to your body, suck this part down and lift the middle. And you're right below the elbow, not above it, but right below it. You make your lock. Once I make my lock, I'm right in my knee, I'm right back into here again, and it just flows right into another same series, okay? So, I'll stop it, I pass it, I make my lock, come through, press in, make my lock. Okay, and there's a lot going on right there. Right here, this opens, fit this through right here, it sits under the armpit. Okay, that's going to hurt him a little bit, so he's going to straighten that arm because he wants to straighten it, and then I go right into my lock. Boom, I hit him with an elbow, all kinds of things I can do there that are nasty. Alright, let's try it.
Basic stroking the blade, and then we're going to partner you guys up and show you some pretty cool stuff. And we're going to need to get our sticks too, because I don't want you beating the heck out of my sword, so we're going to use the stick in a second, but I'm going to show you some great quick kill entries with a blade and a stick that I think is wonderful. And when I spar, my guys that spar me a lot, I enter it with some of these, and you're going to love it. I mean, it's almost fail safe. But right now, let's just do some basics. We're going to stroke the weapon a little bit, then we're going to partner up and do some invasive techniques and go from there. Okay? So, right side forward. Okay? Now, what I like to do is always point the tip forward. The reason why is because, can I use your time? The reason why is because to get to me, he's got to get through that tip. Okay? If it's here, a lot of times he can really reach it from here. The tip's kind of there. To get to me, I can counter that. Okay. So from here we go angle 1, angle 2. Space out if you need to. Angle 1, angle 2, angle 1. Stay back down. 1, 2. Uppercut line. 1, 2. Back down. 1, 2. Uppercut line. 1, 2. Try to use your hips. Down. 1, 2, uppercut line. Good. Again. Okay, so we're going to go 1, 2, uppercut, uppercut, and just rake right across. And when it comes, it stops on your arm. You can put this little bumper here, this little buffer right here. Say it. Go. 1, 2, up, up, right. Good. Again. 2, 3, 4. I can go here at an angle, and then what I want you to do is just turn it, and I want you to rake back across with it. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Rake back across with it. Okay? Give that a shot. Also, I can slash through, thrust and slash. You see it? So we're going to thrust this angle, and then I'm just going to roll it over to the slash, thrust and slash. All right? Give it a shot. Slash. It doesn't look like much now, it just looks like we're making a step, but in a second I'm going to show you how this can really work for you to get inside. So I'm going to go 1, and then I step back to that side, and I can do any kind of follow-up shot from there as I want. So watch you get. 1, I step with the left leg, and I cut on that angle. See it? So 1, left leg. So this just be a tree right now. So my shot is here, but then I'm stepping on that angle with it. You guys see what I'm saying? Okay? We're about to do some of these. So from here 1, and then I want you just to step to that angle with it. Okay, then you can work any follow-up shots you want to do. A couple more times in the air. 1. All I want you to do is this kind of just sway back. We call that a spike, where we just kind of go at an angle. It doesn't look like much, but if I hit the hand, think about metal to meat, right? Okay? I mean, I don't even need to cut, but if metal to meat, man, that's all you need. He'll drop that, I guarantee you. So, for training, we can just hit the sword here. See that? Do it again, slowly. And then I want you to go 1, and then 2. That's it. First 1. So we go 1. See? I go 1, 2. Okay? No no footwork yet. I got something special I'm gonna bring out in a little bit, but right now, just work on this. Say it, and then he does it. Spike it, thrust it, cut it. All right, give it a shot, go. That's not the angle that I want. The angle that I want is almost like you're shoveling dirt kind of behind you. And I just kind of, do it again. There's a shot. So slowly, one, and it can be at a slight angle, but it doesn't have to be as much as you think it needs to be at to pass this weapon. So I go one, and then I can, and then from here I can cut, thrust and cut, or thrust and cut either. All right, go. I'm always trying to hit the hand, and the beautiful thing about metal that's a little different than wood, you know, wood, some of these guys have sparred me without padding even. You did it a couple times. You've stick sparred me without pads before. And it hurts like hell, don't get me wrong, but it's not a magic where the stick falls out of the hand. I mean, not every time. I mean, we take licks and we red and, you know, purple afterwards. But metal's a lot different. Because what does a blade do? Who can tell me? It cuts and what?
Breaks bone. It
cuts and breaks if you hit hard enough, right? So I'm just trying to just hit the hand. If I cut it fine, that's beautiful, okay? If I just break up the little finger, that's beautiful too. So I go one, say it, and I'm gonna cut and thrust, say it, I can follow up from there. Now he gives me the angle two, same principle, I come to the other shoulder. You see it, now watch, I do my downward and I follow up with my figure eight that we did before that I could follow up with my thrust. You see why I started you with the stroke drills? Okay, so we go one, do it again, one, I'm sorry, one, I can cut and thrust, fine, and then we go two, I get behind it, and you can put any combination together that we've already done, okay, give it a shot, go. One, see, and then you can do any follow-up that we've already done, okay, go. He's going to give me a low shot or even a leg shot to really train this, okay, so the leg comes, I go one and I step back, you got that lateral steady, lateral triangle. And then I do the same follow-up shots that I've already done, right? Okay? So very basic. So one, now if I can hit the hand, beautiful. I might just hit the blade. And that's the same follow-up that we've already done. Okay, again, one. And you just flow. Give it a shot, go. I just thrust back in and do what I did. So slowly, one, two, and then I'm just thinking, it's almost like, I mean, think about it, a good sharp knife, a good sharp blade, a good sharp bottle, 38 stitches later, never saw it coming, right? It cuts pretty easy. So, one, just cut, and then follow up with your follow-up shots. So the first one that we want to do, we want to zone to zero pressure, or if we're a mass attack, we want to take care of that guy, then take care of this guy. You can do this single stick, double stick, sword, dagger. So this is the motion that I want you to do. Once we're here, it's a quick hop switch, and then I hit and I go back to the second guy. You get what I'm saying? That's the motion I want you to do. So we're going to do it slow, watch. From here, it's almost like we're doing this. You remember that step I did earlier and I said we're going to try to make that work in a second? We're going to do the same thing, except we're going to make it ballistic. That's all it is. All we're doing is step it and hit it. And then we can follow back, right? So from here, and then I go back to the next guy. Say it. So that's the motion I want. Right now with the partner, he just holds this. I want you to go one, and then imaginary second guy. In a second, we're going to do mass attack type training, okay? Right now, and then go here. He can turn with me, then we do it again. He can turn with me, we do it. He can turn with me, we do it again. Then we go to the second guy. All right, give it a shot, go. See it? So when you hit your zone, give it a shot. See how easy it is to kind of get in. All right, just start. I mean, it's so simple, man. I mean, they don't know what to do for that split second. Even after I hit them with it over and over again. Because it's so ballistic. You see? That's the kind of energy I want you to do there. A couple more times, go. First one, I'm here. Kind of go 45 with it. Just hold it right now. Right now, we're just holding it. Now, we don't have to hold it. Let's do 3/4 drill. So we're here. See, I can go that way too with it. Out of a flow drill. Right? And then I just want you to, give me a number one. I just want you to hit the hand or whatever you want to do in that second one. We're not working on the second one right now, we're working on the first one. Sometimes we do this. I'm gonna go to you 3/4 drill. And then I do him and I'm back over here. That's fun. You can create some fun things with these. All right, give it a shot, go. Number 2, 3/4. Say it, we call that 3/4. Number 3 is 4/4. Say it, that's 4/4. And then number 4 is 3 count sombrata. Number 5 is 5 count sombrata. Those are my 5 basic flow drills when it comes to single stick or single sword. So the easiest one is this 3/4. So when I handle this guy, and I just go back to this guy, we just go 3/4, and I can handle him and then repeat. All right, give it a little more angle, just be a tree. So I'm here, and I just want you to power him by. All right, give it a shot, go. And I jump off. He does number 1, and then I'm just going to jump and hit him. Say it. Number 1, I spike, and there's the explosion. See? Spike it. Explosion. I'm ready for the second guy. So, from here, now watch. I can thrust. Look at this. See, I can clear that with the same techniques that we just did. See it? The exact same thing. I can hit and thrust. See it? It's fine. Okay? Or you can just thrust just to get around it. Look at this. Okay? You can work something like that too if you want. All right, go. You hit each time. See it? There, I clear that. There. I love what he said, and I've stuck to this kind of belief. He says disarms are what? Incidental, if not accidental. I've always kind of, especially when you're dealing with bladed weapons. I'm not saying a hammer you can disarm, but it's very hard to disarm a bladed weapon. And we test that sometimes with markers. He's got to tell you, we'll go get them, you know, and then have, you know, I can put a marker in her hand, and he'll be cut to shreds with it, right? But you know what? They're fun to do. It's art. I love doing them. They look great, and you know, I think the more you train them, the more chances you have of pulling that off if you didn't train it, right? But the thing is, bladed disarms are different than stick disarms. You know, a lot of people say, you know, treat your stick as a blade. Well, it's true. You know, there's something there for sure. But when it comes up to the end of the day, it's a what? It's a stick, right? Blades, one cut. I mean, you know, I'm scared to death of them. That's why I train blades so much, because I just know that they'll barely cut you, they get in a fight, right? Okay, so I'm gonna show you a few cool sword disarms, and we're gonna put them together into kind of the matrix here. So, first off, if I just hack that arm off, you take that barong right there, that's your best disarm, right? Okay, so I go here, I can hit. There's the, you know, obviously we got that. One that you see common in the Filipino martial arts, they call it a cambiata. And I used to, give me number 1. This is a cambiata. I used to always go, man, that would never work against somebody throwing a really, really speed. Let's use a stick just to be safe. Give me a good one. I mean, how you go cambiata that, right? I'm like, what's that? That's scary, right? So the more I played with it, the more I did it when we sparred and stuff, I found out that there's a little secret that may make it work a little better for you. I don't hit and do it. I'm trying to redirect the stick into him. So he gives me number 1, I press it and do it. Give me a really good one. Yes, sir. Go. And it kind of just reverberates right into him, because the whole time I'm trying to do this instead of going. Do you guys see the difference? Same thing with our trapping in JKD. You know what separates Jeet Kune Do trapping from Wing Chun trapping? This is one of the big differences that Bruce Lee had. What comes first, hand or foot? Hand. Whereas Wing Chun, you trap and hit. JKD, I'm trying to go. See, that's I'm trying to go, boom, I hit it, right? Same thing here. I'm not trying to block it. I'm trying to redirect it into him. You see it? So try that with a stick, and you'll be amazed how good it works. Give me a good one. You with me? And then, I mean, we got a lot of cool stuff from there. Just give that shot. See how I do that? This is called Sector 5, right? I mean, that's the textbook cambiata. I never could pull that off when somebody was really trying to hit me in stick sparring. So usually I don't even use this hand. I just blitz that line from there, right? I mean, we got a lot of cool stuff from there that we can go to. Same thing with the roof block. Like, this is textbook roof block. Okay. Well, the thing is, if I do that, he's still in play. He's just gonna keep hitting me, right? So roof block. So yeah, I mean, I'm in now. That's the goal of blocking. Okay. So cambiada, first one. And look, I just want you to grab palm up, and I just want you to hit him with the puño right on his hand. For training, we just press it out with the forearm. Okay. So do it again. So one. Then I hit right on it. And then look, if it goes into his body, that was perfect. So then you can cut back with your cuts. That time I kind of did like a reinforced type. That's fine. I can go palm up. Sometimes too, I just grab the thumb. Same type of thing. Okay. Now there's a big thing in the world right now about pressure points. Do they work? Do they not work? What's the theory? Is it wrong behind it or whatever? I know that there's some parts of the human body that hurts like hell. One is right here on that thumb. I love it when I grab that thumb. I just dig my fingers in, and that disarm is so easy. Is that your thing? You see? Okay. So that's the next one. So ones and twos. Okay. I'm here. You can go under or you can go over. Just don't try to pinpoint them. It hurts right there. Just all your fingers, one spot. Just grab. And just go ahead and cut. Okay. Give it a shot, guys. Yes, sir. Get it? Look at that. Sometimes I can do it without even grabbing. Right? Very good. Very good. All right, give it a shot. Go. So we're here. There. That's fine. There's your disarm. I want you to cut through with it. Hit the body. Hand goes up. There's your fulcrum. See it? There's your lever. The hand goes up is what makes this work. If the hand's not up, look what happens. So I hit. If that's a blade, you can see bone. I mean, you know, it would probably lock that thing in anyway unless I cut through with it, right? So I hit and glue. I go up. The key is the round step. And then it's add your shots. Okay? You want to give it a shot?
Yes, sir.
You want to see it again? Y'all got it. I hit harder. So I go here with it. Look, I just round step and take a knee. It really makes it hit hard when you do that. All right? So you got to round step first, though. So I just go here. See, I round step. Nice, pretty. See it? All right, give it the structure. I'm pressing into him. That's the key to this, guys. Look at me, guys. It won't work any other way. I've tried it. Okay? So I'm pressing in to him. Okay? So I go one. See? You okay? See, it's hard to defend it because it kind of just ricochets. See? So when I disarm, watch what it does. It cuts. Yes, sir. Making this one work. The key to making this work is to bend his arm. That's the key. So all I do is, you see it's here. As I hit, all right, you remember? Okay, watch. Remember this? And look, I step with that. Look at that. And any kind of lock we did earlier. Right? So slowly, one more time. You okay? Yes, sir. So number one, I press the structure. Okay, I chop it out. Okay, I go here with it. And look, all I want you to do is just bend the arm. Okay. All right, give it a shot. See it? I mean, you know, it doesn't take much, right? Another option that you can do here, you can thread it deep and lock it with the handle. It's hard to do it on a short handle, but a stick, it works beautifully. And then all I do is, you are healed. You are healed. You got 4 minutes. Well, what's the flaw in this?
Bite you.
No, he can't. He can't bite. What's the flaw in this? Well, if I lock him, what's he gonna do? He's a wrestler too. What's he gonna do?
Tap out.
Go ahead and spin out. Boom, now we're in a fight. Watch. If I instinctively secure this, now the reason why I like this foot over is because I like to kick on the way in or stomp the trachea on the way in. That's why I like it. So I'm here. Now watch, I just want you to put the stick in the ground and then shift it into fifth. Now watch. It neutralizes your movement.
That's sweet.
Just a little nugget for you there if you mess up.
Okay, go.
So this is my 46th year in the martial arts. I started off when I was a kid doing judo at the YMCA with a police officer who was really big into judo. And then I started getting into Japanese karate. I loved it, but I did this sort of rock, paper, scissors thing where in 1972 I sparred a Golden Gloves boxer from Brooklyn, New York. His name was Jeff York, and Jeff York bested me with his hands, and so I decided I loved boxing. I wanted to get into boxing. Then I met a kickboxer, and I thought, now this is what I really want to do, is kickboxing. Then I met a wrestler, Jay, who took me down, you know, made me basically eat dirt, and I thought, now I got to get into grappling. So it was all full circle. Started off as a judo guy, got back into grappling. But then something happened, and I got introduced to Kali and Filipino martial arts. Actually fairly early on, but I really started getting intensively into Kali in the early to mid 70s. And the light bulb went off over my head. It's like everything started making sense, because I was able to combine the things that I knew, grappling and boxing and kickboxing, and also could learn sticks and knives and defenses against sticks and knives. So I'm not saying it's the best, I'm just saying it was what awakened the martial arts passion that I've got, and been going at it strong ever since. One of the things that's always fascinated me or intrigued me is anybody's ability to defend against a knife. Edged weapons have been the #2 killers ever since firearms came along. They predated firearms, and they created all kinds of casualties on the battlefield. So we've got to know how to defend against the knife. When I teach knife skills, I'm not so much teaching you how to become a knife fighter or effective with a knife. I'm really teaching you how to understand the capabilities and limitations of a knife. If you know what it can do, if you know what it can't do, then when somebody pulls a knife on you, you'll be ready, you'll understand it a little bit more. And that's what we're going to work on now, is defense against the knife. And we're going to really work on how to seize the weapon-bearing limb, and then how to do some things to overcome it. Jamie's got a genius to say that all the things that you can do, you would think, how many things can you do in a fight? Well, the theory is you can just do 1,000, but in reality, you've always got to approach me at a certain angle. From this angle, or from this angle, or from this angle. No matter if it's a folding chair, or a stick, or a knife, or a punch, it comes in at a specific angle. And so the Filipino genius behind Filipino martial arts is to understand those angles and then work specifically against the angles. If he's got a stick, it works. If he's got a knife, it works. If he punches or kicks, it works, because we're working against that angle, not so much the technique. So it's the approach. Your hands have got to be somewhere in a fight, and if you learn where your hands typically are, and you learn those angles, then you can begin to neutralize. So Jamie's the only 3 angles he's going to be using is this angle, which we call the #1. Let's come in with that. Then we're going to do a backhand, which is a #2, and then for just practical purposes, we're going to call the thrust a #3. It's really not the #3 angle, but we're just going to call it. So we've got 3 major angles. We've got the forehand, the backhand, and the thrust. Now those angles there's more to it than that. If Jamie came in to the leg, that's a different angle, or if he came in low, that's a different angle. But typically, somebody with a knife that comes in and attacks you doesn't know those angles. They only instinctively go mostly these 3 angles. Stop. He's going to come in. We're going to step in and stop. I'm going to step in with my left foot, and I'm going to stop that attack with both hands. One hand mostly on the bicep, shoulder area, the other on the forearm, wrist area, nearer the knife. I'm going to step in and stop. So step in and stop is the first thing. When he comes at me with the #2 angle, I'm going to step in and stop. Look how I stepped in with my right foot. Step in and stop. Left foot, step and stop. Right foot, step in and stop. Look at that. Step in and stop. Step in and stop. Step in and stop. Step in and stop. To pull you towards me, resist. It's not easy to pull him, but I can tell you that if I grab a control point, try not to move, it's just so easy to control somebody from the wrist. So I start with saying that the wrist is probably the greatest control point on the human body. It's real easy to control him. Even if he's strong and resistant, typically the wrist, you can't overcome that. The second is, if I take my hand on his lat muscle and try to move him, you've seen me do this before, he's going to resist me, and I outweigh him by at least 7 or 8 pounds. So, there we go. I can't move him, but if I take my hand on his tricep, do you see how easy it is to move him? So I can't move him on the lat, but if I take my hand on the tricep, I can move him. So the area just north of the elbow, really the sort of the tricep, that's a control point. The wrist is one of the most important. The tricep is one of the most important. There are others. One is, we call it the underwear line, which is this sort of, that's a control point. Another one would be the inside of the knee. That's a control point, very easy. And then there's the ankles. Those are typically good control points. You can move somebody pretty effectively. The others are the head and the face. If I put my southern salute finger under the nose, I can move him very easily. You can't resist that, probably. Try to resist that. You can't resist that. It's hard to. The other would be the back, not the neck, not the head, but sort of that, just as it starts to round off, that's a control point. So the wrist, the tricep, this underwear line, inside of the knee, ankle, under the nose, back of the head, and then combination chin, head, you can control. If you understand the control points, you can understand how to maneuver somebody that's even bigger and stronger than you. So that's what we're going to talk about right off. Let me get my attack dummy thing. Right now I'm just going to step in and stop, and then here's that backhand, step in and stop. I'm going to step in and stop and strike. Step in and stop and strike. Step, stop, and strike. Here comes the next one. Step, stop, and strike. I step, right hand, bam. Step, stop, and strike. Step, stop, and strike. Step, stop, and strike. Step, stop, and strike. Let's all face at about 1/32 of a second, and you're doing this move faster than the blink of an eye. So you're just stepping and stopping, then you seize the weapon-bearing limb as you strike. So I stop and strike, I stop, step and stop, then I seize and strike. Step and stop, seize and strike. Step and stop, seize and strike. Backhand. Step and stop, seize and strike. What's important about the wrist? Why are we grabbing the wrist? Anybody? Because it's a control point. It's not only a control point, but it's probably the best control point. So I step and stop, I seize and strike. I step and stop, I seize and strike. Step, stop, seize, strike. Step, stop, seize, strike. All right, try that with your buddy. However, I don't want you to think in terms of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That may be the way we learn. I call that metronome training. A piano instructor uses that little metronome where you learn to play a rhythm of a song. But we want to, I'm not interested in you learning how to step and stop and seize and strike. Here's what that would look like. He comes at me, step and stop and seize and strike, and step and stop and seize and strike. You may learn that at the beginning, but now it's time to go to just simply moving in. There's almost no difference between those moves. Step and stop and seize and strike is right off the bat. Step and stop and seize and strike is right off the bat. By the way, that hammer fist is one of the most effective strikes there is to the head or to the side of the neck. Because the head is a bowling ball, if you punch the head, there's a very good chance you'll break your knuckles. But the side, the hammer fist, is just really great. Thing that you want to think about, a little sort of technical trick, is you want to have a handful of bees. You can hear them buzzing, but the moment you make impact, you squish their little guts out. So when he comes at me, right here, there's a looseness in this hand. But the moment it makes impact, squish, there's a tightness, and dynamic tightness. So I step and stop, seize and strike. Step and stop and seize and strike. Stop, but I'm stepping back. I step and stop. I seize and strike. I step and stop. I seize and strike. Step and stop and seize and strike. So we got 3 moves. Step and stop, seize and strike. Number 2, step and stop and seize and strike. Step and stop, seize and strike. Step and stop, I seize and strike. Here I could do a secondary or even a tertiary follow-up technique. We're going to understand that that's a capability, but we're not going to work on that right now. Step and stop, seize and strike. I can come in here and take him down. And that's the one we're going to work on. There's the tip. There's the tip. You see that again. Slow motion. Here we go, slow motion. Step and stop, seize and strike. See how you could strike to the groin? But we're going to pull the arm down and around. I'm going to put my hand on the kidney. My other arm goes to the chin. And I'm going to make a, remember Sesame Street brought to you by the letter C? I'm going to make a letter C with my left foot. I'm not stepping back, I'm making the letter C. So there's the takedown. Let's face it, train with people who have been trained by people who have been trained by people who have been trained. Guess what? They're not the best knife fighters in the world. Chances are the best knife fighters in the world are in prison right now because they've killed people with knives. So almost everything you learn about knife fighting, including from what you learn from me, is conceptual or conjecture. I'm telling you what I think. I am not telling you from experience, but I have been attacked by somebody with a knife. But I'm just telling you that when you learn knife techniques, you're typically learning conjecture, and you have to you put on the gear like Guro Brown is talking about. Put on the gear and practice this stuff so that you're not just taking my word for it. I'm one of those instructors that never wants you to take my word for it. I want you to practice and learn this stuff so that you can experience it, take it to your level. I'm sitting here stunned at what these gentlemen have shown today at the level they've taken their art to. It just blows my mind because they didn't just accept what they learned from their instructor, they went and took it to a whole new level, and it's just incredible. Now, so not a passive, don't train in a passive receiving. Don't even train in an active with movement. Train with a dynamic movement. There's a dynamic. You can't do that every time because you would be injured at the end of a class. But every now and then, put some dynamic juice into this. Bring that electrical current through your body and let it loose. Set the amplifiers to 11. Anybody know that reference? Spinal Tap, anyone? Why don't you just turn it to 10? There's an amplifier. Why don't you just turn it to a 10? Well, 11's better than 10. Anyway, we're going to turn amplifiers to 11. I'm going to seize and strike. This time, I'm going to bring this elbow towards my chest. I'm going to bring it towards my chest. And then I'm going to take this arm and I'm going to step forward with my left foot as I bring him to the ground or bring him forward. It's better when you move. Here comes this. There, I stop and step and stop. I seize and strike. I bring this elbow, not the arm, I bring the elbow towards my chest, my ample Arnold Schwarzenegger chest. Then this hand comes up. This hand comes up. And it's better when you make this noise of a chainsaw. But I'm going to actually turn this wrist and come here. This is, do you see how he's going to go down to the ground? It's easy to take him to the ground. The question that you guys had is, what about the knife? Well, I mean, there's a lot of things you can do. One is simply ignore the knife is there, trap it, and then just beat the bejesus out of the guy. You could disarm, you could break. There's a lot of things you can do. But our goal right now is just simply defend.